Hey guys, what's going on? It's Marty McVie here, back with another video, and today I am going to be giving you the full history of the PlayStation. Now, before I get into this video, I want to give a shout out to Tony Bizzelli for helping me make this video. He helped me do some of the research on it, so go follow him on Instagram at Bizzelli42. Now, without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so first let's go all the way back to the origin and where PlayStation began, all the way back in 1988. The PlayStation was a project that Sony was working on with Nintendo dating back to 1988. However, the project was originally to make a CD-ROM for Nintendo's Super Famicom, which was the Japanese version of the Super Nintendo, Nintendo's second console. Though Nintendo feared Sony was using their deal as a way to muscle in on the gaming industry. Because of this, the day after Sony announced the deal with Nintendo, Nintendo went behind their back and teamed up with Philips on the Philips CDI, which didn't end up being that good. But because of Nintendo teaming up with Philips, Sony and Nintendo stopped working on their deal, and Sony worked alone on their first console, the PlayStation. So that's where it began. That is how Sony got into the gaming industry with the PlayStation. Okay, so let's talk about the PlayStation. The PlayStation released on December 3rd, 1994. The first game on it was Air Combat, and the last game was FIFA 2005. So they made games on this system for 11 years, 1994 all the way to 2005. The initial cost of the system was $299, and the cost now, you can get it for probably like between $30 and $70. There were 1,300 total games for the system. Now, let's get into the PlayStation 2, which released on March 4th, 2000. The initial cost of this system was $299, just like the original PlayStation, and the cost now is between $40 and $100. Now, this is like a really good console. I never owned one, but it's a really good console. I've played on it before, so if you get a chance, I would pick one up because the games are still fun to play. There were multiple launch titles for this system. It wasn't just one like with the PlayStation 1, because as gaming has progressed, they've released multiple launch titles on systems. But the launch titles included Armored Car, X Games, and more. The last game released for the system was PES 2014. So this system actually had a 14-year run, whereas the original PlayStation had an 11-year run. And there were 1,850 games released. Wow. And here's a quick fun fact before I wrap up talking about the PS2. The fun fact is that someone legally changed their name to PS2. Wow, they were a huge fan, and they must have been very dedicated to the console. They're probably someone who still plays it to date if they changed their name to it. Let's get into the PSP, aka the PlayStation Portable, which released March 24th, 2005. So basically 5 years after the PS2. The initial cost of this system was $249, so it costed less than the primary consoles that were made. The cost now, you can get it for around $100. The first game, this one didn't have multiple launch titles, but the first game released was Armored Core Formula Front, and the last game was Retro City Rampage DX. Now, as a fun fact, this was Sony's first handheld console, one of two that they made. So this was their gateway into the handheld market, which is something that they're not as primarily focused on today, but it definitely affected the handheld market for sure. Now we get into the PS3, which released November 11th, 2006. The initial cost of this system was a whopping $499. So even back in 2006, consoles were expensive, guys. The cost now, you can get it for about $300. There were multiple launch games like the PS2 had. The last game released was FIFA 19, so it ran all the way from 2006 to 2019, which is crazy. It once again a 13-year run, so not as much as the PS2, but still more than the original PlayStation. There were 1,442 games released for the system. And then, fun fact, people say it is the quietest console, like it doesn't make a lot of noise, which is something that I can't really say about the PS4. When you boot it up, it makes quite a bit of noise. But this was the quietest console, a lot of people say. Next, we get into the PS Vita. The release date of the PS Vita was December 17th, 2011. The initial cost of the system was $249, so same as the PSP, and it had, the current cost is $199, so you can get it for like $200 now. There were multiple launch games, including Uncharted Golden Abyss, Wipeout 2048, and more. And the last game released was Romancing Saga 3. There were 1,525 total released games for this system. And fun fact, you were actually able to make phone calls with the PS Vita. So it wasn't just a portable gaming system, but you could actually call people on it, which is cool. Now we get into the PS4, which is the current console if you're watching this video before the PS5 comes out. But yeah, it's the current console in May 2020. The release date of this system was November 15th, 2013. There were multiple launch games including Call of Duty Ghosts, Need for Speed, and more. The initial cost was $399, and now you can pick it up for $299. I can't tell you the last game made for this system because games are still being made to it, like I said, because it's the current console. Fun fact, there are 3 different variants of the PS4 that have been made, which are the Standard, the Slim, and the Pro. I personally own the PS4 Slim because I got a deal with it bundled with Spider-Man, and I got it for Christmas a few years back. Now, we get into the PS5. I don't have a lot of statistics to give you on this because it hasn't released yet. This is going to be released in 2020, and it is like holiday season it's going to be released, and the price point is going to be between $499 and $549, and we haven't, as of now, seen the console yet, but we have seen the controller, and it looks really cool. So, yeah. Alright, so that is the complete history of PlayStation. Now, I did a video like this back in 2016 with the history of Nintendo, but I didn't really give a lot of statistics. I just kind of gave the names of the consoles and a picture of them. And that is my most popular video on the channel, so let's try to get this video to have even a fraction of the views that that video had. So, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe for more content. Ding the bell for notifications and leave a comment down below. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.